Lights go down, but the stories ignite. Truth and tea in the dead of night. Drama deep as a midnight scroll, where secrets rise and the hot takes roll. Whispers echo through Hollywood halls. We're digging up dirt behind velvet walls. From shady scenes to viral mistakes, we break it down, no breaks, no fakes. Every headline hides a tale, behind the glitz, behind the veil. So if you're ready for the real unknown, come down beneath the headstones, where the wild truth finally gets shown. Entertainment, scandal, and all that's unsaid. We bring the stories back from the dead. Laugh, gas, spill what no one owns, right here beneath the headstones. From influencer feuds to movie gold, the spotlight fades, but the gossip's bold. Behind the glam, the scripts unwind. We dig up the legends they left behind. Every shade behind the fame, every player, every name. If you're brave enough to dig alone, come down beneath the headstones, where the untold finally gets known. Drama, mystery, the fun never ends. We're spilling truth like we're old best friends. Vital vibes and internet tones all live beneath the headstones. It's not just graveyards in gloom, it's red carpets and shattered rooms. It's lights, camera, and a twist of doom. So come down beneath the headstones, where every tale chills to the bone. Drama and laughs, no filters apply. We're bringing receipts they try to hide. So hit that like and claim your throne with us beneath the headstones. So you caught in with the headstones, where the wild truth finally gets shown. Entertainment, scandal, and all that's unsaid. We bring the stories back from the dead. Laugh, gasp, spill what no one owns, right here beneath the headstones. Headstones!
Hey y'all, so this stream is going to just be a streaming stream. I'm not going to give any commentary, because if I did, I would be here for 4 hours, and I don't have that kind of time. So I had mentioned maybe last week that I wanted to move my Bullhorn Betty live streams over to this channel, and yes, I could download them and then re-upload them. That's a lot of time. So I decided that I was just going to stream my live stream, my previous live stream, without commentary, and I would just hang out and chat. This is about 2 hours long. This is my very first live from April, what did I say? April 13th? No, April 10th, 2023. I had been doing videos for several months. I had started my channel at the end of February 23. So about 2 months I had been making videos. So I decided to go live. I listened to a little bit of it before starting the live, and I was a mess. I was a mess, and I still am. But I am really proud of how far I have come. I do apologize in advance. I say a lot. And I've replaced it with the word and. So you get rid of one bad habit and you get another. So I hope you enjoy it. And here we go. All right, everybody. I believe I'm live. I hope that you hear me now. I realized that I had StreamYard open on my phone and it was doing an echo. So hopefully it's going to work at this point. Again, I'm still learning, but I hope to figure it out sooner or later. So normally I don't come live to talk about my bestie. Oh, good, you hear me. My bestie Betty. However, this morning when I was listening to her live, there was so much going on, and I'm off this week for spring break. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go live because putting a video together with all of her shenanigans would take way too long. So I'm going to do a live reaction of her first live this morning. So apparently she had some internet issues. So her first live was only 30 minutes. So that's what I'm going to go through today. And then I'll just clip her second live. But I thought it was kind of funny, the things that were happening during her live today. So I'm going to do some live commentary. I do listen to her. Well, I have to listen to her at 1.5 speed. I can't do normal. I can't do 1.25. So if I need to slow her down talking, please let me know. But for me to tolerate hearing her, I need to listen to her sped up. So let me share this. Okay, and so here she is.
Chat because we are running on real stream. I don't have any of my intros or anything else like that set up at this moment. So we're just going to wait. Hi, everybody. I see you guys are starting to come in. I just want to make sure that this is kicking out onto Kick. You guys give me just a moment. Let me check to make sure I'm live over there. Again, it appears I'm streaming properly over on Better. Muted. There we go. So I don't irritate myself listening to that. So again, we're not going to be kicking into the good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're not going to be kicking into the normal intro and outro for this particular live. This is going to be a long one because I'm going to try to incorporate sharing the screen, making sure that you guys can hear it, but I'm not going to leave here. Well, actually, I will be gone out of here. We may not be able to do Letitia live today. I may have to do some errands and come back here and set it up. I'm not sure how that is going to look, to be honest with you. I might have to change my thumbnail and move it to a different one that we're going to run live from here. The reason, let me make sure, what am I running on here? I don't think I'm on my hotspot. So hopefully you guys are seeing me okay, because I'm on my hotspot in the room versus the actual room.
And just let me know if you can hear me. I know yesterday I had, yes, you can hear. Perfect. All right, here we go.
Internet, and that hotspot will be going with me today as I, navigate what's going on here.
So before, the first thing I had thought of before she started was, why is her screen, like the background blurred? And I was like, it kind of looks like her office, but then I noticed the door was different. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, is she really in Georgia? Is she like, and we'll hear later, I believe it's in this live, someone else had the same thought that I did.
Here in Glynn County. I am officially in Glynn County. I arrived last night. I'm not really going to be doing a whole lot today other than, doing some finding and getting a good understanding. Again, I like to come into communities and help and work.
All right, and I apologize. I'm not sure if that's her or if that's me.
Job, and they can do their job, and we can all do our job safely. Give me just a second, guys. Hold on just a second. Sorry, that was one of my friends calling to see how my Easter was. She doesn't watch the channel. She's just a personal.
Okay, and why do we have to answer our phone during a live? I put my phone on Do Not Disturb because one, I don't want to like be distracted, and two, like I don't understand it. Like,
a political friend. So at the end of the day, it's nice to have Buck Cherry lover. I'm a Buck Cherry lover too. I could tell you a story about a live event I went to.
So for those of you who don't know, she is in Georgia because she believes that law enforcement is not doing their job, that the case of Trent Learcamp, who is the 19-year-old who was, they initially had called it a hazing incident. However, in my opinion, I feel that it's an assault. He was forced to drink obscene amounts of alcohol. There were also drugs in his system. They humiliated him in ways that I won't discuss here. If you're interested, I did do a video probably 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, that is unedited, and it shows the video and the pictures that were posted to social media. So I would definitely check that out if you're not sure about the case with Trent Learcamp. And I'll kind of give some commentary as we go through because we'll get there.
Watching Buck Cherry. It was a very informal event in St. Petersburg, and the venue was very, very small, and like literally I could have reached out and touched their faces. Like I was like, you know, even before I was in this front row show stuff, I was always a front row. I was always in the front row, right? So I was doing some sleuthing because we did hear a name.
Okay, so here she goes with her sleuthing, and this is where, as I was listening to it, I was like, oi, oi, oi. Her sleuthing
was brought up, and his name was, God, it was some weird name, like hold on, I'll tell you, like Rooker. But I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember his first name, but I know his middle and last name, Rooker Hobby, but it's not. It's Edward Rooker Hobby. Anyways, so this person was already identified and put out into the public because he had already been arrested in another altercation with his mother at his mother's house, where his mother had him trespassed. Apparently, it was noted in the police report that Edward Hobby was having an issue with drinking. So it's kind of making me feel like he might be the instigator of this whole drinking.
So again, here she goes with her assumptions, and it's worse. And the police report, she does mention she saw on Twitter. So one thing I've noticed is when she does research, not only does she reference Reddit, which I would take Reddit, you know, as Reddit. She also looks at Twitter, and I know that some of her loyal subscribers email her stories and information. So she was talking about the Letitia stock trial a few days ago, and she was trying to find this Google document that she saw on Twitter. Well, I did a simple Google search and found it in 30 seconds. So her research, I feel, in her mind, oh, I got these stories, so I'm just going to run with it. But one thing we'll see, I've noticed Betty being much more cautious in things that she's doing and saying, and she'll even say that. And I believe we find out the reason why towards the end of this live
campaign at the Struthers house, you know, because Carlton and Lauren Struthers have been named as the house that this happened in, but the son had not been named. And that was a little concerning for me as to why, you know, they're not law enforcement is not releasing a whole lot of people. We're having to dig to find out who's involved.
Well, Betty, that would be because they're minors. The name of the boy that was arrested previously, he is teen. The rest of them are underage. That could be why they're not releasing the names.
In this, because it's a little concerning for me to find out that the kids that are involved are from, you know, families that have a lot of pool in this community. And that is it. They have a lot of pool in this community. And that's what's concerning me and what's bringing me out here. You're talking, and let me just tell you how I found all this. So I did some searches. I guess it's not going to show you because the way I got the camera set up, so it blurs the image behind me. So I'll just read this. So I just did a lot of sleuthing, just trying.
So again, why does Betty have it blurred this time? She never has her background blurred. So why now?
to make heads or tails of it. I am aware of the children's names that are being peddled around Twitter. Okay. I understand that there are more names. People have been sending me names of who's involved in this, but it's not just about the names. It's about corroborating those names, not just bringing those names up and throwing those names out there without the corroboration. So I went through the corroboration to identify Jackson. So we started talking about.
How many times do we think she's going to say corroboration?
I didn't know anything about the Strother family. I knew that they owned a hardware store. I didn't really know the history of the hardware store. So I started, looking into this family, because the first questions that I have are like many of you: where the heck were the parents when this stuff happened? I mean, you were talking about teenage boys where there were several injuries at this elitist house in Simon's Island, on St. Simon's Island. These people are generationals. I'm finding this out.
Again, making assumptions. Are they well-to-do? Most likely. They live in a very affluent area, and possibly affluent, possibly they inherited the wealth. We don't know. So again, she starts making assumptions, and I left her chat up because many others are saying the same thing that I'm saying. So I think it's interesting to see what people are saying in her chat at the same time. And thank you to everyone who is watching. Just real quick, I see Language of Horses. Hi, Brandy, 221, Liza, Rebel, Night Owl. Hi. I agree. So yes, as kids, we do stupid things, but yes, I agree. Betty continues to do so. And so she worded rallies, possibly. So just a side note, I teach mathematics. I'm not good at English. I feel like I'm decent. However, some of the things, the words that she uses in her dialogue doesn't make any sense. So for example, she was talking about Richard Allen being on a hunger strike in prison. However, she didn't say hunger strike. She said hunger sabbatical. Sabbatical is something you do when you take leave. Usually you hear it like at the college level, like my professor went on sabbatical. So that was something funny. And the other thing I've noticed she says a lot is that she went on a dissertation instead of on a tangent. Again, a dissertation is usually referenced at the college level because you have to give an argument or write a dissertation doing research to prove a theory. So just some things that I've noticed on a side note. But let's get back to this fun.
They're generationals. They have family members that were county commissioners at some point. So their ties to the community are very, very deep and go back well into, I was able to track this family well into the 1930s in this one community. So you're talking about many years. Many of you guys know my family is similar in our area, where we have been there. We're generationals. We've been, our lineage goes all the way back to the 1800s and probably before, but that's as far as we can track. So I've been tracking this in the limited time that I've had to track this particular case. And this is what it says. And this is related to the hardware store as to what I found online that started leading me into the direction of some of this stuff.
And I attempted to find an email address for this hardware store. However, they don't have an email address. They only had a phone number. I was going to give them a heads up that, this lovely woman is looking into their background and will most likely come to visit at some point soon. However, I had to run out. I'm going to try to keep digging, but if anybody is able to find that, feel free to email me or contact them yourself, because if she's not there already, she will be soon.
Done a lot of background searches for this particular family, because again, I'm curious how a house can have 11 law enforcement calls to the residents in 8 months. You've got multiple injuries. Every time Trent went over to that house, he was never right when he went home. He had to get stitches above his eye.
Okay, so again, there were 3 instances where Trent did receive injuries or arrive home in some sort of distress. However, assuming that it happened every single time, You can't do that. He could have went there hundreds of times and nothing happened. He could have, and possibly maybe it did happen more than the 3 times that his dad noticed or that he reported. We can't assume. And again, someone had said in chat, like, we were kids. If your parents are not home, or even if they are home, I know when I was in school, a lot of my high school friends, their parents would just let us party at their house. So again, like, we don't know the full story, and to assume that we do is really reckless and not smart.
Event, he came home covered in god awful, who knows, and his parents and family are watching this, and then he goes over there and almost dies. So you're talking about some serious allegations, some serious misconduct, and we're hearing that the parents were home at the time. Now, I don't want to spread misinformation, and so
okay, so this is interesting because she just said, we're hearing that the parents weren't home at the time. Yeah, I don't want to spread misinformation. Well, isn't that what you're doing?
Well, I'm going to say that I've heard that. I haven't confirmed that. It is not corroborated that the parents were home. But if they were home and law enforcement is still sitting on their hands, I will be very angry, because you're talking about parents being home, contributing to the delinquency of minors, so much so that one dies. There's 2 people right there that can go to jail. But why aren't
Okay, but they didn't die. Yes, they almost died. And if we're not well versed in the Trent Camp case, he 3 of the juveniles who were at this incident brought him to the hospital. They left their names and phone numbers and then left. His blood alcohol level, I would have to reference again, but it was either 0.464 or 0.484. And his breathing was at 6 breaths per minute. So in itself, this kid is a miracle. By all accounts, he should have died. He didn't.
she throwing the parents in jail? Maybe because they're a struther? Is that the reason? Is it because of their background in the community? Are they providing funds to campaigns because they do have ties politically to this county?
Here she goes with her political nonsense, making assumptions.
Who do they donate to in the last election cycle? That's what I'd like to know, and we will get to the bottom of it, because I'm starting to sniff around and smell that there's a little more going on here as to why they are.
So here she goes. She's, sniffing around, seeing what's going on. And I think the only thing they're going to smell is you coming to bother them, Betty.
So hesitant to charge these boys that almost killed another boy. Most law enforcement agents don't do that. They usually follow the law. The law investigates. If parents are home, parents get charged. Period. Charged right out the gate. Let the courts deal with it. Argue with the courts, right? When have you ever been, for some of the people have been arrested in this chat, when have you ever been arrested from a law enforcement officer and they say, well, why don't you go ahead and plead your case for me right here, and I'll let you know whether we're going to arrest you today, or we're just going to wait until we get this big fat bow on it and all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed, and then we'll arrest you.
And again, here, I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, is she alluding that she's law enforcement? This is what she would do. I don't understand how the parents didn't do this. The kids did this. So did the parents have some culpability? Maybe. But again, going after this family makes no sense.
I want to know how many people in our chat have had that luxury, right? So I'm looking into this J.C. Struther company, and this is on Simon's Island. So I want to read this to you because I think this starts opening up the level of generational power they've had in this community. If you are familiar with the St. Simon's Island and its downtown, which locals call the Village, you've no doubt seen the structure while strolling down Mallory Street. J.C. Struther opened this hardware store in 1930, and it remains in business. The oldest on St. Simon's. The family still involved in promoting and protecting the island today. So then I'm, doing some research, and I run across.
Oh, here's her word, research. And that's another thing I noticed. Like, usually I'll say like, oh, I went to Google and looked it up, or I went to Twitter and I noticed someone posted it. She always references, oh, well, when I was doing my research. Okay, Betty, we get it. You don't do research. You don't have to convince us. Stop trying to convince yourself.
And I don't know if this would be Jackson's uncle, but it's definitely his dad's cousin. And I ran across the marriage certificate, or the marriage, where they put the announcement in the news of their wedding and stuff. So this is public record, and it was put in the newspaper on December 16th. And it's for Cannon and Beth Gould of St. Imans announced the engagement of their daughter, Rebecca.
Okay, so I just want to pause this because when I was watching this earlier, I wasn't really looking at chat. But I noticed that this Dab commented, Adriana, criminals usually don't, I think they meant don't do political parties, which I find very interesting considering Betty does do political parties and she is a criminal. Just saying.
Rebecca to Gordon Struther again, and this is the son of Carlton's aunt and uncle. So the aunt and uncle, Frankie and Gordon, are, there's deep ties here, and there's a large Struther and Gould family here. We had a lot of Gould, Tennessee, remember that, associated with Don Wells. Well, it's no different.
Okay, so here come the conspiracies. Here.
So I just kept reading and trying to confirm. And so as I'm reading, I come across this 1943 document. Let me take this camera. It's going to drive me nuts. Oh, let me fix the camera. I like the virtual background. I don't like people seeing, but it's really just a hotel room. It's not really big. And you got this beautiful reflector vest.
Oh God. And there's her bullhorn, her bedazzled bullhorn in the background. Let's hope somebody confiscates that and maybe puts it in an evidence locker so she can't get it.
Reflector vest behind me. So along with the beautiful bullhorn, what? And I need to figure out the image too, because I don't like the mirror on this. So let me go to video. Let me take the mirror off. There we go. I got the background off. So anyway, so here's what I'm talking about. So then I came across this 1943. These are minutes. These are county minutes. And it's a lot. This was, life was a lot different back in 1943. The way they conducted their meetings, like I was reading through this and some of the stuff they're saying, I'm like, man, this is some wild stuff. Many of you guys know I go to these very meetings myself in my county. So I read a lot of these documents. And so you can tell this one was typed up. Obviously, they didn't have computers back in 1943, right? They didn't have computers. But this particular report was dated.
And I want to know, how can she afford to print all of this stuff out? Like, she's got like piles of paper. I put everything on Google Drive, or I bookmark things so that I can reference them again. I just feel like it's a waste of trees, especially in today's society where we have access to all types of, cloud and hard drives, et cetera, et cetera.
September 9th. I don't know. Okay, this was an October 4th. Today, October 4th. Monday, October 4th, 1943. So regular meeting. So this was a regular meeting of October 4th, 1943. And just like I mentioned before, remember how I said the name Gould? I said that just literally 2 seconds before about Rebecca Gould and Gordon Struther, right? Getting married. Well, listen to this. Major J.D. Gould. So Gould and Struther have been synonymous with this.
Okay, so I just saw someone commented that they think paper is on her Amazon wish list. That's a good thought, possibly. However, maybe she requested it as a wedding gift as well. That could be possible.
Community, synonymous. So the Gould family has similar, prestige, power, and name recognition in this area as the Struther name. And we've got the cousin of the parents that own the home where this conduct happened being a Gould and a Struther. So now you have the two big boys of this community.
Okay, so again, if they have historical ties to this area, of course they're going to have the same name. So if two of the teenagers involved do have those last names, so what? If their family is historically tied to that town, of course. especially when you live in a smaller town. So if you're living in a big city, obviously you wouldn't be able to see those ties maybe as well. However, I grew up in a really small town and we all knew each other, and the names were usually tied to those who historically lived in our town. So again, here she goes with these conspiracies.
You know, the Goulds and the Struthers, and one of their children for investigation, criminal investigation, that's not resulting in charges. So we've always thought that there's something causing this to slow up. We're hearing and sniffing around, and people are screaming that there's corruption in this town, and this would smell like corruption, where you have a citizen that feels that they're above the law because they are politically motivated, they are politically
like you
know, in tune and plugged into the political environment. They're donating to political causes and political people. Now, what part of that is not true? So far, I have not dug into the campaign finances to find out if my theory of this is true. So this is all just the paperwork leading up to this. But Major Gould appeared before the commission with references to the present status of the United States Guard in Glenn County, requesting the commissioners to write the governor, asking that the present state guard organization be held. Moved by Commissioner Furman, seconded by Commissioner Harley. Authorized the chairman to write governor requesting that the presence of state guard organization be retained, unanimously adopted. And then as you come over to the next page, you start seeing also moved by this. We have moved by Abbott, moved by Commissioner Parham, and approved and restated revoked license J.D. Newton Sterling probation for a period of 1 month to date, unanimously adopted. And then you go down a couple paragraphs, and it's talking about another presentation to the board. And it says moved by Commissioner Abbott and seconded by Commissioner Struther.
Yep. So here we go. And I don't know where she found these documents, like going back that far. But again, if this was in the 1940s, we're now in 2023. That was 83 years ago, if I did my math right. Things have changed. And again, it gets worse what research she does.
Commissioner Struther. And when you look into who Commissioner Struther is, it just so happens to be J.C. Struther, the original owner of this hardware store that he opened in 1930. He became a county commissioner, I don't know what year, but certainly a commissioner in
Oh, so she didn't know what year. Okay.
1943. So now you have a family that has generational ties to this community. You've got them owning one of the oldest and largest hardware store on St. Simon's Island. So you've got the money and the prestige, and you've got the family name and the family legacy, which is.
Sorry, I don't mean to pause, but Little Minx 345. I'm sorry that you got banned. Maybe you were the one on Kick who talked about being in her office and not in a motel. But I haven't gone to Kick yet. But that just made me smile. So I wanted to quick call you out.
It's synonymous to this area. And that's not where I just stopped. I didn't just stop there. I kept going. I wanted to confirm, you know, who was in the house. Are there more? Do they have one son? Do they have two sons? Do they have three sons? Which son is involved in this horrific event and crime against another human being? And I don't have it here. I thought I printed it off.
See, boo-boo, that's why you need things to be organized, not all printed out on paper. So most likely it's not in there because you probably didn't print it out because it got lost in all of your other stuff.
There it is. I did. Excuse me. And so I kept digging in, and lo and behold, I come across an obituary that was also posted.
Oh, yeah. So here we go. Now she's digging into relatives who have since passed and bringing them into this conundrum that she believes has any weight at all.
In the newspaper. And it was for a Clarice Struther. And come to find out.
Hey, blank screen. Welcome. Maybe you were, so blank screen. I actually thought maybe you were the one who was in her chat on Kick this morning saying that she was in her office and not in Georgia. I will say I thought of you first, but then Little Mink said she got banned. So maybe it was her, but maybe it wasn't either of you. But we'll get there. So welcome everybody. I can't believe 40 people in here listening to me talk about my bestie Betty and her shenanigans. So thank you all again.
Now, this Clarice Struther is the grandmother of Carlton and Lauren, the parents that own the house where this thing happened. So it's not that I'm just, I want to know about this family. And here is interesting. And it was document here that made me realize that this family are generational here, because Clarice Struther, 80.
Okay, so I'm again looking at the chat, and this Dab, I'm wondering if this Dab is a hater, as she says, because just like you were saying in the chat, they also say you will probably find, quote, family legacy in any small town or small county, America. Yes, exactly. I was saying, Dab. So I need to figure out who you are, because you're on the same page as me.
6, which was from St. Simon's Island. Again, the St. Simon's Island and the Struthers and the Goulds have been here for generations. Where she died. Now, it says that she was born November 27th in Lynn County, 1927. She was born here. And I'm sure her family was born here. So they may actually have lineage in this area that goes back to the 1800s. So why am I telling you guys all this? What does this have to do with Trent, and how does...
Yes, Betty, we've all been wondering that for the last 20 minutes. What does this all mean? Why do we care? Why are you digging into family's history that you have no business digging into?
Does it apply? Well, the problem is that we know how, maybe normal people, people that work every day, that don't follow true crime, maybe they don't.
Well, here's the thing, Betty. I work full time. I'm actually on spring break this week, so that's why I get to go live. I also follow true crime. And lo and behold, I also do actual research to prove you wrong. And that's why I'm banned on both my accounts, because she doesn't like that I have disdain for her when I prove her incorrect with her dribble.
Understand how investigations work. Maybe they don't understand that they don't need to have 15 charges against someone. They can add them later. Or maybe something more is there, because we cannot figure out why they have photos. They know who was at the home. They have a good idea of what happened and what transpired inside the home. A man almost lost his life, and the kids that dropped him off at the hospital ended up leaving their telephone numbers and their names with hospital employees. So
yes, and that's the responsible thing to do. Leave your name and phone number. So three of the kids, we don't even know if these were the kids that were involved in the incident. And again, for those of you who may be interested in getting a recap of the Trent Learcamp case, I did do a video about 2 weeks ago that talks about what happened to him. There are videos. There's a Snapchat video that was posted on social media, and I also have the unedited photo that was posted to social media. So again, be aware that it could be triggering. It is disgusting what those kids did to him, and I'm not gonna say it here, because the one thing that I agree with, Betty, is that it was horrific and he did almost lose his life. Again, the fact that Trent is here today is nothing more than miraculous. And I continue to give him all the vibes for his healing and his ability to have a great life.
So at this point, I have no earthly idea why we have no arrest at this moment. So it makes me wonder, something doesn't smell right.
Oh, maybe it's all of us haters that you commented on yesterday. I have a video coming. I'm so backlogged with Betty. Like she just keeps up all of her stuff. But maybe that's what we're smelling, Betty. Maybe the haters are there too.
Something doesn't smell right. So what can we do to figure out why this doesn't smell right? And it's digging into the people involved in this case. This is only one person. We know that Edward Hobby was brought to light by WSAV. They were able to locate that one, and they were able to release the name of that one.
That one. Okay, so again, they released it because they are not minors, Betty Boo. They are not minors.
You now have the release of the second name, Jackson, which was another boy there. I did have an opportunity to preview his TikTok, his social media page. And he kind of looks like a normal teenage kid that doesn't.
Aren't they all normal teenage kids, Betty? They were in high school. All of them were in high school except for Trent. Like, I remember what I was like in high school. Thankfully, we did not have social media. The Nintendo had just come out when I was in middle high school. So we had an Atari growing up. So like I said, thank God we didn't have social media. But again, they're teenagers. They're going to have TikTok. They're going to have Snapchat. They're going to have social media lives that maybe not all of us do.
Really want to do anything. But if you looked at Edward and you look at Jackson, you can kind of see Edward's more hardened. Edward Hobby's more hardened. And maybe these kids were, some kids look up to the troublemakers. Maybe they think their life is fun and they are able to do goofy stuff and don't really care about consequences. And, when you're, 14 on to 18, that's kind of where you want to live. You want to be able to do whatever you want to do without any consequences. So I'm kind of.
Well, you would know best, right, Betty? Because you've told us that you were not the best behaved child when you were at home. And again, making assumptions about things you do not know and things that don't concern you. Why do you care so much about the alleged perpetrators? Why aren't you talking about Trent? Trent is who we should be talking about right now, not digging into their historical lineage, trying to defame their family names. Like, just stop.
Kind of leaning toward that, maybe it's possible that Edward was kind of the one that kind of concocted all these things, and these cool dudes, the richer kids that want to hang out with him are kind of,
sorry, I wasn't rich growing up and I was pretty cool, Betty. Just saying.
Playing right along. They think it's fun. Now they're drinking. They're not, their inhibitions are lowered. They're not realizing what they're doing. How many people? We got 19 viewers over on our Kitten.
Oh, so this is where things get a little spicy. And then she does what she does best. She starts complaining.
.com. I hope you guys are enjoying. For those that are coming over here, there's no need to hide. No, I'm not hiding it. I'm not even in the office, if you haven't realized that quite yet. But that's okay. That's okay. If I wanted to have, and that's one of the comments over there on kick.com, if I want to have Gabby's cutout, I will. It's in my possession. I put it up anywhere I choose to put it up. So yeah, definitely, you clearly don't watch too often. Wish I was home, but I'm not.
So if you weren't here for the start of this live, I had actually thought the same thing as this viewer on Kick did. When she said, "Oh, we're in Georgia," and I was like, that looks like her office, just a different angle. But then I did notice that the door was different, but I'm like, well, maybe it's a different room. So I'm assuming sooner or later we're gonna know for sure if she's in Georgia, because I'm sure she's out raising havoc as we speak. So we'll be here for it.
Here we go. Wish I was home, but I'm not. So at any rate, that is kind of where we are at this very moment in this case. So we now have Jackson, and we now have Edward. So we do have the other names. I don't feel comfortable. I mean, anybody can search on Twitter and find the list of names.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my
Sorry
office.
about the
But the desk is over here, and so when I'm seated.
One of these people are sending it over to Brian Enton, and you can read the names for yourself. I don't.
Oh, Brian Enton. She always has to name drop. So again, I had said Twitter, Reddit, and some of her loyal subs are who's feeding her information. And I think Twitter, she just goes to Brian Enton, and everything that he says, that is her research. She researches Brian Enton's posts. And again, I need to find out who this Dab is, because they are on a roll today. I feel like they're trolling, and they don't know that they are.
Oh, I'm not going to list the names unless I know they were there. Unless I know 100% that they were there and the information I'm providing is true and correct. And if I don't provide true and correct information, I am letting you know, like as far as the Struthers being home, Lauren and Carlton, were they home? I truly do not know. I have not corroborated that tidbit of information. Maybe they were home. And I'm telling you, if they were home and this was happening inside their home and law enforcement hasn't given them a citation or anything, yeah, I think it's political and I think it's for power. I think it's
okay, so again, just a simple Google search that I did previous to this live, there are several news outlets who have reported that law enforcement has gone to this house numerous times over the years. Numerous times. And that was just a quick Google search as I was looking for updates, if there were any, on Trent today. So she should know these things.
It's because they have money. They provide money to campaigns, and they are supportive of, their politicians. That is not what gets you from getting handcuffed. If you break the law, you have to pay you have to pay for that. You don't get a free pass because you have some kind of power or money. That kind of garbage doesn't go well in any community.
So what about Alec Murdaugh? Granted, he didn't have a lot of money when he was brought to trial, but his family had a family lineage. Historically, they were prominent in their community. So again, what you're saying is not legitimate.
So I'm hoping that some of this stuff is inaccurate, but so far everything on that list has panned out, guys. Everything on that list so far has panned out that was provided on Twitter. So I'm giving it a lot more weight because so far.
Okay, so the chat is, I don't mean to pause it, but the chat, I'm like looking at the chat, and so the dollar store extension will ruin your electronics. I actually wondered, I was looking at the door, and I was like, is that like a Jimmy rig? Like that's what we would do, like when we didn't want to pay for cable, we would like run like these Jimmy rigs so that we could get cable free. So I'm wondering if that's what that is, but that is really funny that you said that as I was thinking it. And just hi to everyone who's come in. And Mystical Magnolias, I'm so happy that you're listening. It's okay if you can't chat. I'm just glad that you're here. Again, this is my first live reviewing Betty, and I usually do my clip videos. After watching this shit show, I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend hours clipping stuff together, because she was on a roll today. So I said, I'm just going to go live and give my opinions.
Everything on there has panned out. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. So even though I have to state it as rumor, because a lot of the stuff on there isn't corroborated, but we know two pieces of information have been corroborated. We know that Edward Hobby was there. He was seen in the photo. And we definitely know this was at Jackson's house, that this happened at Jackson's house.
Yes, we all know that. We've known that for weeks. I knew that 2 weeks ago when I did a video about Trent and what happened to him. It's been all over the news. So I'm not sure why you waited so long to pick up this case. Maybe it's because you saw one of my videos. Because I know you've got some simps coming in my comments. So I know you know what I've been saying, even though you don't watch us.
The problem here is this man, Trent Lerkamp, has been in the hospital many days and has a long recovery ahead of him.
Okay, so this is where, so I had an appointment this morning, and I usually screen record on my way. I have a 45-minute commute to and from work, so I have a lot of time to listen. And so I usually screen record at that point. So when I was driving, I screen record, and she had mentioned that Trent has been in the hospital. He's no longer in the hospital. Even more so, he's not even in the state, Betty. Trent is out of state recovering from his, what is the word? I don't want to say incident because I feel like it's his struggle, I guess. I mean, really, he's recovering from his near death because by all accounts, he should have been dead. For those of us who may not know, he was breathing at 6 breaths per minute when he was dropped off at the hospital. He had a blood alcohol level, again, of either 0.464 or 0.484. By all intents and purposes, he should have been dead, and he's not. So again, he is a miracle on this earth.
Don't misunderstand. The Struthers are about to be sued. This is about to be a whole nother.
Oh, the Struthers are going to be sued. So now you are able to see the future. Can you tell me if I'm going to win $1 million? Because I really do need some money. Oh, wait, but I don't grift like you do. So I actually work for the money that I earn.
Incident like Paul Murdaugh's case. They're about to have the crap sued out of them. And I can tell you, it's a lot more expensive to try to keep somebody alive than it is to let them expire. A lot more expensive.
What? Okay, so I didn't even hear this part. I must have been so mad about the fact that she didn't know that Trent was out of the hospital that I missed her saying that it costs more to keep someone alive than it is for them to pass. Like, what the F? Like, I have no words.
Never mind the pain, suffering, and recovery that goes along with it, right? Let me get over here on this other side real quick, make sure everything is looking well on here. Let's just see if we got any viewer activity. We do. Just Samantha, best chat around. Shout out Coffee Club.
And Just Samantha is one of her biggest supporters, one of her researchers. And so, of course, she's going to say, you know, call out her comments because this Jennifer L., Sepsis Kills, Just Samantha, those are ones that are always supporting her. And here's my man, Dab. Like, I need to know who this Dab is. Andra, are you forming an opinion? Why, yes, Dab, she is. And not only is she forming opinion, she's making accusations against people that aren't true and that could defame their name. And who knows what else she's going to do. But if anyone's able to find an email address or feels confident in calling the Struthers Company, please let me know the email because I wanted to let them know what she's doing. Maybe they won't care, but I feel like if someone came into my town and started talking about me and my family, I would want to know, especially when it's someone who has no idea about my family and has no right to insert their nose into my business.
Coffee Club, what? Okay, why does it matter what Betty has? That is absolutely right. Thank you, MJ. What does it matter? I love it when they do put something on me because it makes me wonder, what do you have? What are you hiding? Why are you hiding your face, right?
So now this is where I believe it because we'll get there.
The other way. I got to tell you this story.
Oh, but little do you know, we're cockroaches, right, Betty? So every time we see you, we run away. So, touche.
I had a friend that I went to high school with. She middle school and high school, and this is not to scare people, and it's not to talk bad about people because I don't care who you are, what your size is, you know, what your anything about you. It doesn't matter. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. Sometimes I insult people just to insult them because they've insulted me, and I use, you know, some things. It doesn't mean it's applying to everybody. It just means I'm just trying to hurt that person. So anyway, my friend Shauna, when I went to high school, I haven't talked to her since high school or something like that. Something happened. I don't know what. Maybe her family moved away, but her mother was very heavy, like really, really heavy. She had a hard time moving around. She stayed in her room and in her bed most of the day. She was a single mom, and she would lounge around in these slinky evening, not evening,
Okay, so again, this story has nothing to do with Trent Lerkamp. And also, one thing I want to point out, if you notice what her headline is, Live 5, State of Colorado versus Letitia Stock. Coffee Club will discuss other cases. So there's her little disclaimer that we're going to discuss other cases. But again, the headline has nothing to do with what you're talking about. And it's been like 30 minutes.
You know, like pajamas, but they were kind of like sexy pajamas for really heavy women. And if I say really heavy women, I'm not talking about somebody that's 300 pounds. I'm talking somebody that's like 4, 5, or 600 pounds. I think she was closer to 600 pounds than 300 pounds. Okay. I mean, you're talking about a very large woman. And so we went over, we weren't allowed to be over in her house very often. Her mom would always make us, you know, go outside. We couldn't play inside the house. And so one day I had to use the restroom. So I go inside this house and I overhear her on the phone. I overhear this woman on the phone. She's got a beautiful voice. She's got an amazing voice. Very girly, very sexy, very young, right? You guys are kind of seeing where I'm going with this, right? And so I heard her on the phone and I walked out and my face must have been like white. I think we were in middle school, maybe 6th or 7th grade. And she goes, well, the way my mom makes money is she takes phone calls. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she fields phone calls. And she's like, not those kind of calls. I'm like, oh. So she was one of those girls on the hotline that talked to the men over the phone. So they could, you know.
Again, what does this have to do with Trent? I'm not sure exactly how we got on this path of, you know, the hotline girls, but again, she went on a dissertation, in her words.
Take care of business, right? Basically phone sex. If you guys didn't get it, okay, like just throw it out there. For those that didn't connect the dots, right? So this lady, and I am thinking that if half of these men knew what was on the other end of that phone line, I have no earthly idea. But since she was in those sexy lingerie, and this was before, you know, recordings and online stuff, this was literally phones. People paid, you know, they called the 800 numbers and they actually.
Right, Betty. Most of us were alive then. It was only like 30 years ago, maybe less.
Paid per minute to talk to these women. Well, she was one of those women that they were talking to. But with her being in those sexy lingeries on the phone, now, you know, being an adult, I'm wondering if it was just as much fun for her as it was for them. I don't know. I don't know. But see, this is what I'm trying to say is these people on YouTube, you know, they may have sweet voices, but there's a reason why most.
Aw, thanks, Betty. I have to speed your voice up because you talk really slow and I need to get through it.
Most of them won't show their face online and don't want to be online with their face.
Yeah, we don't want to be online with our face because of people like you. Like, we look at what you're doing to these families in Georgia. You've been there less than, I don't know, maybe a few hours, and you're already digging into their backgrounds and defaming their name, making accusations about the family because they've been there for generations. Like, that's why we don't show our face. And also, maybe we don't want to.
There we go. So I don't irritate myself.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck I clicked on, but I clicked on, let me see if I can,
you know, go outside. We couldn't play inside the house.
Speed up a little bit here. I went all the way back to the beginning. Don't want to do that. All right, just bear with me. I don't know if this is my internet or her internet. Her internet was acting wonky today too. Her internet wanted to run away from her as much as we did. All right, so while I'm waiting for this to do what it's supposed to do, I think it's because I fast forwarded so fast. Maybe it's buffered. Yes, so I'm just gonna go through chat. Victoria's Secret. Okay.
Right?
She's back.
Basically phone sex. If you guys didn't get it, okay, let me just throw it out there. For those that didn't connect the dots, right? So this lady, and I am thinking that if half of these men knew what was on the other end of that phone line, I have no earthly idea. But since she was in those sexy lingerie, and this was before, you know.
All right, let me just fast forward this a little bit. We don't need to hear that again. All right, so while we're waiting, oops.
It's because that if people knew, and I'm not one, I don't believe judging someone for that. I mean, God knows I could be 300 or 400 pounds myself, right?
But aren't you judging her for what she did as a job? Like you said you were not judging, but you are judging by making comments about the work she did and how she was dressed.
And I still want to be able to come out here and make money. So it's not that. I'm just saying that there are other reasons people are hiding their identity than many people know. And I think if people actually knew who they were and could see their eyes, see their body language, see their face, I really truly believe that many of the people that are following them probably wouldn't follow them anymore.
Fat chance. I feel like not showing what we look like, actually, like, think about The Voice, right? The Voice, they show their face, they sing, and they're judged on their talent and how well they sound. Whereas seeing someone, you can have some preconceived notions. So yes, maybe there are people who, if we saw what they look like, maybe we wouldn't want to watch them. But again, it's not about what they like, it's about their content. And your content, I watch because I find it hilarious. It gives me, let's see, I want to say this. It makes the drive home go so much faster because I'm usually yelling at you and telling you you're wrong or just stop. Or a lot of times I'll be like, wow, really, Betty Boo? Wow. All right, so we're going to keep on going here.
Good morning. Good morning, old rusty kettle. I'm becoming an old rusty kettle myself. I have to be honest with you.
Well, at least you said it, so we didn't have to.
So I just found that quite interesting. Is the daughter going to testify today? I don't know. I'd like to be here until it starts, but I've already got Karen meeting me here at the hotel, and her and I are going to go snoop today. We're going on a fact-finding mission. I was going to go straight to the police department and see about getting them, but I think I'm going to call.
So this Karen that she's speaking of is also the Karen who was in, let me think. She went to, I don't remember. She went somewhere and she was out in front of the courthouse where her car broke down. Maybe it was Georgia. So this Karen lady is who she was with during that time. And so now the Karen is also joining her in Georgia to harass people, because apparently Betty doesn't like to harass people by herself. So she has to recruit others to do it with her.
Call the police department first and see who their public information officer is, because I've got a laundry list of questions that I think maybe they would be able to answer for me, that will, help, instead of me having to do the work. Because I mean, I'd rather get the information from them.
Oh, so instead of you having to do research, Betty, we've been all waiting for you to say that. But then again, maybe you should go to law enforcement first, and maybe even before that, let law enforcement do their jobs. It's just over 2 weeks since this incident happened. And they're not just going to make an arrest because they have a photo or a Snapchat video that was like, I don't know, 15 seconds. Like, let them do their job. And I hope that when she goes there, they tell her to make an appointment and they don't have any openings until like next year.
Relay the information from them. If I've got to hunt it myself, it might not be relayed the way they would want it to be relayed. So hopefully they provide me some answers, but I do need some questions and prepare some questions. I do have a question home at the time. And I know they've been keeping a lot of this stuff secret, but however, we already know what home it who owns that home or the parent's home at the time this incident happened? And if the answer is yes, my following question would be, why are they not arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a minor? They are responsible for the children inside their home. The underage children are their responsibility. They accept that responsibility when they have those children walk into.
So now she admits that they are underage children. So why didn't you remember that at the beginning of this live when you were trying to assume that they weren't?
To their home. They are now responsible for them.
And so this is where her internet started to get very choppy. And so I'm going to let this just run through, and then we're going to go to her second live, like when she comes back, because that's where she starts doing her complaining.
And there's a lot of friends over there, and now one's almost resulted in death, and they didn't do any mitigation with their children or their son Jackson to make sure none of this stuff happens again, to stop the law enforcement. They're culpable. Your life is giving, yeah. Okay, let me see if I can get this hooked up to well, it might even get worse on the hotel, but we'll try. I did realize I am on.
And there she goes. Even her internet doesn't like her. So I am going to go to her second where she comes back. And let me just go to Miss Betty Boo, part 2. And we're going to just watch this nonsense.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster?
And I apologize for the
With
ads.
Wix, you can edit your meta tags, page.
And just give me a minute, because I fast forwarded, rewinded fast. My computer is a little bit.
I can think of is that it.
There we go.
Hit, like when I changed internets, it dropped it somehow and never picked it back up, and I was none the wiser. So again, good morning, good morning. So this is part 2. This is part 2. We're probably gonna have to here in just a little bit. But I
Please no, 2 parts is enough, girlfriend.
don't know what happened. That was odd. That was odd. I almost want to add it. You know what? Let me. I think I am going to add it. We're going to watch it and see. I want to see what part where I left off
Betty, your internet ran away from you. That's what happened.
at. That's a little crazy. So let me pull up this, and we'll just put it up on the screen and see how far we went. Right? Hi everyone again. It's nice to see you. We've only been going on for a half hour before the live feed died. So, and I do think it has to do with the internet, because the internet just crashed. Boom! It was done. It was done. So at any rate, we did find and locate one of the people. So now we have 2 of the people identified. We're going to be going through and identifying the rest of the people, but we need to confirm that they were actually at the home at the time.
Here she is saying that she knows who the other minors were. However, she wants to confirm their names before she starts digging into their past. Again, Betty, leave these people alone. They don't need you bothering them. I mean, I've never been arrested. I've never even, well, I've gotten 2 parking tickets. 18 years apart, mind you. However, I'm pretty sure that the parents are going through enough, and the kids too are probably going through enough, that this is hopefully a huge learning experience for them, and that they will change their ways because of this.
Again, WSAV was able to confirm the one because of an arrest record that he had at his mom's house. The Rooker, Edward Rooker hobby guy, had an altercation. Oh, and listen to this. He was throwing pots, pans, and broke a pot and toward his mother, and a mirror toward his mother. And so his mother had him arrested. And she identified that he's been having a horrible drinking problem. That was in the police report from the mom that has been posted out for everybody to see. So
right. So again, she didn't do any research. She saw a post of the police report online. So that's where she's getting the information from.
Either way, however it happened, it is what it is. So we're going to be identifying. Again, you can go to Twitter. You can look up Lair Camp, and you can put Jackson in there.
Oh, dang. I forgot that she actually did use Twitter. So there we go.
And it'll pop up the list, or you can put Edward Hobby in there and it'll pop up the list. And the background, it's backwards. Shouldn't be. Background is backwards now. Well, it's showing it's on mine. I took the mirroring off because whenever the video would come out published, it was backward. Let me make sure that my video mirroring off. Yeah, my video mirroring is off. So mine says team. Team, it's spelled right on the screen. So hopefully it's not backwards. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Hey, Mama Llama. Nice to see you. Sepsis Kill. Good morning. Nice to see you. We're already getting about 100 people. We had almost 300 people in the last live before it was it dropped. And again, like I said, I believe it dropped because of the internet. We were having.
No, Betty, it dropped because of you, because of your insistence on targeting people who shouldn't be targeted.
It popping up that something was going on, and then see, yeah. So I think it just had to do with the feed. I don't think that the internet at the hotel can support it. I don't know. But we will. And then Southern Granny Wolf, there's your cord right there that I'm using.
Oh, Little Minx. There's or no, was it Little Minx or somebody else had talked about her Jimmy rig in the back. But there we go. We're getting an explanation. It was donated by one of her subs. So maybe someone purchased something on her wish list for her.
I got it running the computer, and I've got it wrapped up, and it's powering one of my battery backups. So I do use the stuff that is brought. My beautiful lips.
Stuff that is brought? You mean bought? You mean grifted?
Brought courtesy of the Blistex receipt. Oh, L Figure in the house. I'm sorry, I did not see the mods tell me that you provided 5 memberships yesterday for that, along with Shannon. I really do appreciate it. I missed it because I don't see the notification on this end, but they did notify me. I just didn't see it until after I brought down the live. So this is my first opportunity to tell you guys thank you.
Well, no, Betty, your first opportunity was 45 minutes ago when you started the first live. You just remembered because you saw something they said in your chat, or one of your mods sent you a message saying, hey, this person's in chat. Make sure you thank them.
For that, again, Karen, we spent many weeks with Karen in front of Quentin Simon's house, and she's here. She's actually coming here today. This is like an hour and 45 minutes away from her. So God bless her for coming out and helping me. Many of you guys know I'm kind of out here by myself. So having just that extra person just makes me feel a little more at ease. I really don't like going into communities completely.
It's great that you're at ease because you have a friend coming to support you. But I'm pretty sure the community is going to be even more on edge because there's 2 of you now.
Completely alone. I like to have at least somebody there. So it's nice that we have friends everywhere we go. And here I am in Georgia, and I've got not only a friend that I know online, but one that I've met, trust, and love. So I get to see her today. And I told her, I said, I'm going to buy you breakfast. No questions asked. No questions asked. I went out last night and got some bourbon chicken with some French fries and brown gravy.
Oh, so this is, again, has nothing to do with Trent anymore. Nothing to do with, well, I mean, at least she just put part 2. She wasn't saying that she was actually going to be talking about the Letitia Stotch trial. But this is funny. This is funny, this part.
If you guys have not had French fries and brown gravy, you are really missing out. And when I ordered it, a gentleman near, because, I don't get seats. When it's just me, I'll just go up to the bar and find out it's just a little easier to get your food. I get it to go. And so I was sitting there and I was just waiting for my food. And when I asked them if I could have brown gravy with my French fries, the guy popped over. He goes, not too many people order that. He goes, I love it. He goes, let me buy you a dessert. So I'm like, okay, And so he bought me a.
Aw, Betty got hit on. How sweet. Although, let me tell you, fried ice cream is the bomb.com.
Fried cheese. I could have any dessert. So they named out the desserts I could have. I got the fried cheesecake with caramel.
Oh, wait. I think I said fried ice cream. Either way, fried ice cream, fried cheesecake, it's all the bomb.com.
Oh, right? It was so stinking good. Oh my God. When I got back here, guess what? I spoiled my food. My food is in the refrigerator. The fried cheesecake is history. It's gone. And I still have bourbon chicken and vegetables sitting in the refrigerator to eat. Oh, I hear it's Stacy's birthday. Well, happy birthday, Stacy, from the Bullhorn Betty channel to you. God bless you. I'm so happy that you're here. So we're on part 2. We have the Letitia Stout case coming up today. More of the same. Again, I wish we had, and we do have.
Oh, more ghost streaming, Betty. And we know, now we all know you're ghost streaming because you said that you weren't sure if you were going to stream it because you had a bunch of things to do today, a bunch of snooping to do. So pretty sure you're going to be ghost streaming.
there are feeds for the West case. So I don't know how I'm going to do this stuff today. It looks like we're going to Stock is the one that has the video and audio feed that we're able to share. The West case, not so much. So I'm trying to monitor the West case. I don't want to get into with the courts. And, you know, there are articles saying that people are streaming the court's call-in feature outside of the court order. So I don't want to get into if other people are breaking the rules. That's for them to break. I don't like breaking.
You're breaking the rules by interfering in people's lives, my friend. You're interfering with their livelihoods. You are destroying lives.
Rules. So it's going to make it very difficult for me to access that feed and run the feed live for the West case. Again, we follow the rules. We don't want any problems. Obviously, others, they're not doxing or not docking them. Like where they're flagging.
Oh, another Freudian slip.
Their feeds and stuff like that. The courts aren't doing that. But if we know that something is not intended a certain way and we go ahead and do it, we're actually violating a court order. And many of you guys know I'm a law and order type of person. I believe that.
Law and order type of person. Mm-hmm. All right, boo.
Whether I agree with court orders or not, I respect the system and I respect the process. And when a judge tells me, just like a law enforcement agent, when a law enforcement agent tells me to do something, I do it. I don't argue with them. And I'm not going to argue with a judge or do anything that could put me in harm. Just because these people are doing everything, inappropriately right now doesn't mean there's not going to be repercussions later. The judge may later decide to bring all these people that were violating the court order up on contempt. Would he do that? I don't know if he'd waste his judicial resources on that, but he could. He could. And would we want to be caught up in something like that? Of course not. And nor would I ever. And maybe it just might be that the fact that people didn't read the court order, they heard that there was a live feed, they just assumed that they were able to share that with their audience. Maybe it was unintentional. You know what? I'm not.
Oh no, where did you go, Betty? Don't worry, she'll be back. The internet was tired of her again. So again, thank you everyone for being here. I can't believe I have 77 people listening to me. And I am reading as many comments as I can. I will read them all after the live because a lot of you make me laugh. Okay,
guys.
Oh,
I think
she's back.
Back over. No, I'm back. I transferred it back over to the hotspot that we were originally on because even though it might be a little blurry, it might get a little. It was internet.
All right, we're gonna skip over some of that because it lasts for a little bit.
Can't understand a single word. Give me a second, I'll move it back.
Yep. So now the internet still hates her. So she's going to move it back to, I believe, her hotspot because neither of them are being cooperative because they don't want to be near.
All right, we're back again and again and again. Hopefully this won't drop. I mean, it will drop eventually. I'm seeing the text. There's nothing I can do. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. The internet at the hotel is weak. The internet on my hotspot because I'm in a building is weak.
So I'm in a building right now and I'm streaming. So I don't think internet has anything to do with whether or not you're in a building, especially one, like I could see like if you're deep within a building, like with, like if the internet might be lower, but I think it's just you. And didn't you just get a new computer and you have all your phones? Like, I would think that your internet would be like superior to the rest of us because you have so many electronics.
So we're just going to have to make do with the weakness. And I apologize about that. But again, not a whole lot I'm able to do at this point. So maybe something that might help is just to go back a couple seconds. So possibly. So we just got privacy complaints from yours truly, Queen Bee.
Oh, so this is where I decided, okay, I need to go live with her live this morning because she says that they were privacy complaints, but I'm pretty sure she got some privacy strikes due to some of her videos that she still has posted. So
not liking people knowing the fact that she's a 3-4-time felon on the streets of YouTube, and the fact that she does not like people knowing that she committed felonies in front of her young children. Yeah, it doesn't bode too well when you're advocating for children and you're clubbing somebody over the head that actually gets off.
And notice she speaks with her bottom teeth, which means she is pissed. So she must have checked her phone or saw a notification, because she was like pretty jovial. I mean, you know, pretty happy-go-lucky. And then in a split second, you see her bottom teeth and she is livid.
Off their butt and goes out into communities to try to assist and help any way that they can to bring justice for those victims in a lawful manner. You know, that's okay. But you don't like it when people start realizing who you are, do you? And it just shows you. I have to take it, but they for some reason feel that they're above everybody else and they don't have to take what they deal out to other creators. And I think that that is a horrible, and I would be embarrassed, quite frankly. I would be embarrassed if I had a channel that bashed creators over the head. And then as soon as the creators found out who I was and then I had to go and cry and bitch, moan and groan like they had to do for 2 years to get their stuff removed. It's still up, by the way. But somehow they're above all of that and they feel special somehow that my stuff can be up. My mugshots can be up, but somehow they're special.
Betty, all of your mugshots are on the internet. Like, I'm pretty sure when I went to look at Queen Bee's record, none of her mugshots were publicly available on the website. I could go to a website and see all of your mugshots. So we're not any more special. It's just that there's more of you because of your nonsense that's on the internet.
In the eyes of YouTube, where theirs can't be, because they're some kind of special person. Sorry, whether you did it, you support it, you've watched Angela on your channel watch my moves, you've watched her harass me by taking binders and sending them to any law enforcement agency where I'm going. That is harassment and stalking. And you guys do it online.
Yeah, you're obsessed with Queen Bee. Like, you keep saying you're going to move on. And as much as I want you to move on, I'm glad you haven't, because it gives me the ability to do funny videos. Yeah, like and again, so the name of this live was the Letitia Stock trial. And then she talked about Lair Camp for maybe less than 20 minutes. And so now again, she's lost the goal of her live, which was to bring exposure to Trent Learcamp, who is, mind you, not even in the state anymore because he is recovering out of state, which probably is a blessing in disguise, because who knows what she would do to his family knowing he was in the area.
In front of your audience. And you're complaining about your privacy? I find that awfully funny. Don't like it, do you? Don't like it, do you? So I will be responding back to each and every one of these. This is through public record and FOIA requests, which we're allowed to use according to YouTube's terms of service. And I will have to remind YouTube of their terms of service, which allow us.
Oh, yes. Remind YouTube, Betty. Just like you're going to sue YouTube because YouTube doesn't follow their own rules. I can't wait to watch that. Hopefully it'll happen during summer or when I'm on break, because I would not want to miss that. I would want to see that live.
To provide newsworthy content that is supported and promoted by public record, which everything, again, that I have on this lady came directly from Gale's police department.
Right. So you brought, so wait a minute. So that is Queen Bee's information that you have on that clipboard, because unless I'm missing something, I'm pretty sure she just referred to that as information she got from the police department associated with Queen Bee's path. Yeah, at the beginning of the live, she said it was the information that she dug up on the Struther and Gould families in St. Simon Island. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, we've been listening to her for some time, but I'm pretty sure that's what she told us at the beginning. So if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure, 99.9% sure, that she had said that was all of the stuff regarding the case in Georgia.
Galesburg Police Department. So it is officially public record through the public records, everything done in order, in which keeps me out of trouble with YouTube. So go ahead and keep filing those privacy complaints. It must be upsetting because this is not your first round of privacy complaints. This is your second round of privacy complaints on me. And the videos weren't removed the first time, but somehow you think that you're going to be able to remove them the second time. So keep going, keep trying. I know it looks embarrassing for you. I would be embarrassed if that was.
We're not embarrassed, Betty. It seems like you're the one embarrassed because you're incessantly complaining about things that aren't really that important. If I was advocating for children, if I was advocating for change, I would spend my time making a change, advocating for change. I would not spend the majority of my life complaining about things I cannot control. You cannot control what other people do. We can only control what we do. And in order to affect change, we need to control ourselves. And it seems to me like you are out of control. You are out of control.
My record myself, and people try to embarrass me for my record. My record is not like that. I've been convicted of literally 2 DUIs, one from 20 years ago and one from 12 years ago. I have not been convicted of a crime since. Period. I have not been convicted of a crime
since. However, my friend, let us not forget there's still the opportunity that you are.
Since 12 years ago. And when I was convicted of a crime 12 years ago, I had 6 months probation. I was literally off everything within 6 months. It wasn't drug out. I paid all my fines. I did my little breather thing in the car. I paid my probation, and within 6 months, I was done. So I haven't had any issues like that. And you never see anything in my record of me fighting with my neighbors. My neighbors.
So here come the neighbors. So no, you didn't fight with your neighbors, but you assaulted your family. I mean, I don't really even talk to my neighbors. I mean, we're cordial, but we all have lives. We're all busy, and we don't really know. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Neighbors love me at both properties. At my other house that I lived in, when I bought when I was 24, and at this new house, my neighbors love me. And when the hurricane hit and all our power's out, they really loved me because I was the only one that had coffee on all day long.
Right, but you didn't have a roof. So how does that make sense? They came over because you had coffee, yet I'm pretty sure if you didn't have a roof, their roof was probably battered as well. No?
So my neighbors came over and filled up their coffee cups literally all day long. That's a good neighbor. So how is the fee coming in so far? Is it keeping up with us? Now, granted, it may drop, and I'll just have to read it, but are we at least doing good doing good so far? And I expect that the live to even go better, around 11, when all the people that were just staying here for one night, when they start, going on throughout their day. We're going to be here for several days. So what about
bless Georgia?
The Vallow case and those crazy rules. Those crazy rules are insane. I have never heard of anything so crazy. And what's upsetting is they're like, oh, there's so many people coming in, this, that, and the other. It's like, you forced them to. What did you expect? Like, these people are you would think that judges would have this stuff down pat, but the problem is most of these judges don't have, they have cases, they have violent cases, but none that rise to the newsworthy.
Here comes law expert Betty giving her expertise on judges in the law.
Of the Vallow and Daybell case. And so they're having these issues because, they're dealing with a worldwide case, and definitely at minimum a nationwide case with the Daybell, the Vallow Daybell case. There's 4 people dead. There's 2 spouses dead. The husband to Lori and the wife to Chad. Lori's children are dead. So you got 4 people there, and one of the murderers, which was her brother, ended up dying. So you've got 5.
Alleged murderer, correct? I'm not too versed on the Daybell trial. However, I did watch the documentary on Netflix, and I don't believe her brother was ever convicted of murder. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But she just said he was a murderer, and I'm pretty sure that's not true.
People in that family dead. But I find it awfully funny that, you know, she had to wipe out her kids. But Chad, I mean, didn't she think, I mean, even in her deluded brain, that it might be a little odd that Chad Daybell, oh, again, I can say Chad Daybell's name, right? Not a privacy issue, right? We say people's names on here all the time with criminal records. Not a privacy issue, right? Just FYI.
Oh, she's still seething.
But Chad Daybell, his children never got injured, just his wife. And his children are standing by him. They don't believe that he could ever do this. I don't think they realize how messed up their dad is. I don't know if this is, I don't know if they were feeding off each other. I don't know how they thought this was okay. I've never read his books. Like, I'm not going to read Chad Daybell's books because Chad Daybell's books twisted up.
Well, that makes sense because you don't read. You're just told information. You never fact check. You don't make me fact check. I like fact checking because I like to put out information that is truthful, and there's no humility in saying that you don't know something because we don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. And I think that comes from being an educator. There are things that I'm asked and I'm like, I don't really know about that. Let me look it up and I'll get back to you. So again, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know, I'll let you know at a later time, or let me check that, get back to you. You just take everything as fact instead of admitting that maybe you don't know all of the answers.
Lori Vallow Daybell, I don't want to read it. I don't want my brain poisoned by whatever content is in those books. I don't care. It sounds like he's a doomsday conspiracy theory type of guy. I could be wrong, but no, thank you. I don't need that reading material. Let's see what we got going on here. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Robin. Holy shit.
So Robin, apparently, I thought maybe at first it was memberships, but apparently Robin sent her a lot of money. I'm not really sure.
Realized somebody else. Brian Lee said, glad to see you on Kick. Why, thank you. Wow, I didn't see these before. Oh my God, that's too much love. That's too much. Thank you.
That's because you were too busy complaining about things outside your control.
God bless you. Even my mods are amazing. You know, they do all this work on this channel. They help me with, you know, my Facebook group. Like, they are just amazing people, bright, shining, beautiful souls, and still give to the channel and still give to the causes. And it's beautiful. You guys don't know how much I love you. You really don't. You guys are almost making me cry. So stop it. I'm not gonna cry today. Hopefully you guys can hear me on the stream. I know that several of my friends that have my phone number, not the phone number all around on the streets of YouTube, my real actual phone number, text me and lets me know that I'm lagging or I'm having problems. But my breath was just taken away. Robin,
But don't you watch your live while you're live? Like, I have my live right now on my phone. I'm actually on YouTube page watching. So not only can I see the stream, I can see how the projection is. I'm not even like looking at my phone at text messages. Like, I see I have notifications, but I'm ignoring them because I'm live. So I just feel like when you're live, you should be attentive to what you're doing and your audience, not others who are outside of what you're doing. But that's just me.
That was entirely too much, but God bless you. Thank you. Happy Easter. And you do way too much for me, and you know it. You know it. Unbelievable. Still gasping for air. And I still have the one gal that keeps sending me the membership.
And this is the point where I stopped her live when I was watching because I knew I was going to go live. So everything from this point forward is going to be my true reaction.
To the Cash App. So I'm going to have to refund her again. I'm hoping she got the message before, because she did right. She's like, I don't know what it is. I keep sending you money, but it keeps being returned. And it's because she wants membership, and I can't do membership here. So maybe one of my mods, if she happens to be in here, maybe one of my mods can throw the link for membership down, because I'm going to have to refund her membership again, and I don't mean to. And I think she's just a little confused, and I feel so bad. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me on Kick. Yeah, we're kind of trying to convert, but we're having. let me move that. So we're trying to, you know, figure all the kick stuff out, but I need to get through, you know, the, and I don't do, like, I could have done like just 1 5-hour live, but I've got so much studying because I got so many cases up in the air. Plus I have my own.
Wait, did you just say you have a bunch of studying? Because you have so many cases up in the air? I don't understand why you would have to study cases, because you tell us all the time that you do research and you speak as if you know what you're saying is true. So is that another Freudian slip?
Personal stuff that I've got to get going on. You know, I've got other legal matters to attend to around the country. So I've got to get all that. So I haven't really been able to. So I knew that I had to kind of do this in 3 lives to get those 5 hours on Kick, but I'm just wanting to see what Kick is all about. You know, what I can do with Kick. Is it something, once I get through this process, I'll know whether I'm going to like being on that platform or not. You know, is it just a trend?
Well, I think you're probably not going to like it because of what I've read about Kick. It's not as, what's the word? Like, initially you'll earn a lot of money, but it's not, it won't be consistent. The money made isn't going to be the same over time. It would be high in the beginning and then it would slowly decrease until it levels off. And it's also, I've read a lot of reviews say that it's a scam and that people wouldn't recommend going over there. However, I don't know anything other than YouTube. Actually, I don't even really know much about YouTube. This is like, I've been on here since February, so I'm still learning a lot about YouTube. So, but again, I do my research before I do anything. So we'll see how things go.
Right now that'll end up dying down because I don't want to have to change my entire system all up to be on Kick, but I will if it's going to be beneficial for the channel.
Oh, here comes the grift. So not only would she have to change all of her system or her setup, I don't think you'd have to change anything. So again, here she goes, you know, setting up the next grift
channel and beneficial for the growth and getting us out to more places. I'm definitely down with it, but I need to get through this part because sometimes when things are new, they work out really, really well. And then as they go through, they're not so, people don't like them as much. They tend to go back to the original stuff. Kind of like how many different.
Oh my gosh, I have to stop. So Crazy Cat Lady, I just saw somebody mention Crazy Cat Lady. Is Crazy Cat Lady in my chat? So Crazy Cat Lady, if you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe because you made one of my clips. I absolutely loved your comment and Betty's reaction. So shout out to Crazy Cat Lady for calling Betty out and triggering her so much so that she was on a rant for several minutes. So, yes, perfect. So Crazy Cat Lady, and it's actually the video, I believe I called Crazy Cat Lady, so you'll be able to find it really easily. So good to have you here. And actually, I see that there's 130 people here. Like that is so ironically, when I checked Betty's live earlier, she only had like 120 people. So are you saying I have more people than Betty and I've only been here for like 2 months? Holy cow. Thank you for being here. Like, seriously.
Apps came out when people were trying to divorce from Facebook, right? We had like 20 different apps that came out.
Wait, what? Divorce from Facebook? Do you mean maybe MySpace? MySpace, like Facebook came around after MySpace because there was a fight between, you know, the people who had MySpace, but I'm still on, or I'm sorry, not MySpace, on Facebook. I'm still on Facebook. I don't understand what she's saying here.
Oh no, you go into Kick too, Lori Lowe. Yes, we're not going there. We're checking it out. We want for real creators, they want a platform that, because to be honest with you, our name recognition will get people to follow us, period. do we think everybody will? Of course not. But you know, the people that aren't really in tune to what we do or why we do it are not really our audience. So we don't really care if some of the people that don't really watch us or support us or just, you know, watching us to stalk us, we don't care if they convert
Oh, Betty, I'm not stalking you. I love you.
over to other platforms. But I always find that when you try to convert to another platform, it just like when we all tried to divorce Facebook, nobody got on the same platform. Like if we went from Facebook to what was some of the new apps? Was it like MeWe? I think is one of them.
MeWe? Has anybody heard of MeWe? I have not heard of MeWe. So after Facebook, there was TikTok, Snapchat. I know that's really all I know. I'm not really good at these social apps. But I've never heard of MeWe.
That popped up like MeWe and the people. And so we were trying to find any app to get to divorce Facebook because of what Facebook was putting us through. Every time we turned around, our you know, we wouldn't even say anything nasty, but it would just be, we could support a president or disavow a president, you know, or whatever. And it didn't matter. They were so hyper political that no matter what you said, if it didn't bode with what they wanted you to say, they would kick you off Facebook. They would literally, I had an account taken.
I've never been kicked off Facebook. I've been put in Facebook jail for silly things. I was in Facebook jail for a whole month because I said boys were gross because they poop and fart. Somebody reported me for, I don't even know what, but I was in Facebook jail for that. So yes, are they a little overreactive at times? Absolutely. However, I have never heard of Facebook taking someone's page. So if they took your page, Betty, it had to have been pretty bad because I've never ever heard of someone taking someone's Facebook page, but that is on my list to research.
Because of nothing. They completely wiped my account out. And this is one that had 2 of my friends' funerals. And the only place that it was recorded was on Facebook. I will never have those memories back.
Wait, what? So I'm just going to leave that one here.
I mean, they'll always be in my head. But to go back and have that memory come up into your feed, I will never get that again. And so and that was my personal Facebook page, my personal one. So when I set up the next one, I'm like, I'm not doing anything personal on here. I'm going to use this platform for political purposes. It was no longer personal for me. Even my personal side of Facebook, you see me, when you see me, I'm out doing, you don't see personal behind the stuff scenes on that Facebook page anymore. I will never, ever be put in a position where I put my photos on Facebook and all they have to do is click one button and all of my memories that I trusted them with are wiped away. I will never do that. But during that.
But why would you trust social media to hold your memories? Like, my memories are housed in my brain, and my most important memories I actually have in photographs where I pay to print them out to frame them, or I have professional pictures done so that I have those memories with me. Yeah. And to have 2 of your friends' funerals saved on Facebook, like, I don't know about you, but I remember, I mean, I was 10 when my one grandpa died, and I was older when my two grandmas passed. But I wouldn't want to remember their funerals. Like, that was such a sad time. Why would you want that as a memory? I wouldn't.
At time, everybody was trying to move, and there were so many different apps that nobody was moving to the same app. So if we moved from one app to the next app, then it would have been a great transition. But because you couldn't get everybody on the same darn page, you had people on this app, people on this app. Nobody wanted 20 apps on their phone to communicate with a friend. So everybody ended up migrating back to Facebook. So what I'm saying is that, you know, this may be a situation where we have that, you know, people are trying to look for somebody or something other than Facebook. Facebook is starting to increase they're giving us the platform, but we're doing the work and they're taking the majority of the profits. And that's a horrible business design for any person trying to,
But how would you know, Betty? You said you don't have a page anymore. Or you have a page, but you don't put any. Well, she does have her true crime page over there. But you're speaking as if you know, as you know. And I'm sure if you actually do, if you have your mods running your Facebook page.
You know, go out here, bring content, you know, make money off the content that they bring, and just make a living, you know. Be safe, girl, on the way to.
Oh, I gotta pause this. So all of my, so yes, so I just saw you, Jonesin and Cheesy Wheezy. I think I would die if B Tim actually came in, but I know he's probably at work. You know, I'm crushing on B Tim. But yes, I am giving. So the reason, for those of you coming in, the reason I'm giving a read on Bestie Betty is because she did so much nonsense today that I couldn't just do bits of it like I usually do. I actually had to comment because she just did so much today that, and I'm on spring break, so why not go live, right?
Work. Oh no, guys. Give Jennifer big prayer hands in our chat right now as she makes it to work. She is going to be, she's kind of melancholy, but she's kind of happy because she's getting back to work, but she's missing the Bullhorn Betty channels.
Okay, so I'm going to just pause. I need to go back just a little bit because I noticed on her chat that one of the comments was deleted.
Because sometimes when things are new, they work out really, really well. And then as they go through, they're not so, people don't like them as much. They tend to go back to the original stuff. Kind of like how many different came out when people were trying to divorce from Facebook,
I think I went
right?
way too far back.
Use this platform for political purposes. It was no longer personal.
Okay, so here's where I believe that someone had made a comment that wasn't very nice and it disappeared. So I'm gonna just
Personal for
look at that while we through this.
Even my personal side of Facebook, you see me, when you see me, I'm out doing, you don't see personal behind the stuff scenes on that Facebook page anymore. I will never ever be put in a position where I put my photos on Facebook and all they have to do is start talking about your foot, that April would be here so quickly. I mean, who would know? But God bless you. We hope you have an amazing first day back. And I'm sure all of your family at work is probably missing you a lot as well. So don't forget to pass my name around if anybody likes true crime at your work and wants to see this crazy cat called Bullhorn Betty. Just let them know they can come over here to the Bullhorn Betty. And we're now on Kick. So if they don't like YouTube, you got Kick. The one thing that's going to be bad about Kick is like I rely on YouTube so much. For example, whenever my ex-husband got the Dodge Ram, when he got the Dodge Ram, it was used and had a lot of miles on it. So now,
oh yes, so I just noticed, and maybe it's like because it's like restreaming, but one mentioned that MGL only had like 12 viewers on Kick and the comment disappeared. So that I just thought that was interesting. So we may end this soon. It seems like she's just getting on like nonsense, more nonsense, but not as fun nonsense.
Naturally, we knew that it's going to have some maintenance stuff because one thing you don't want to do when you get a used car is drive it for a few months and have it break down. So we knew that some of the stuff was going to be.
Oh, and let me just pause. So Barbie, I see your comment. I am not. I've only been on for a few months and I haven't hit the criteria yet to have members. So just subscribing and liking is good for me. I'm not here for memberships, things like that. I'm a teacher and I teach full time. So I'm just here because this is a hobby and I like commenting. I never thought this is what I would do. I actually initially had started my page to talk about different cases, which I have been doing. However, in that journey, I found my bestie Betty. And so she kind of, took over my page, but I am going to, add some cases that really hit home for me and things like that. So I just appreciate all of you being here. Like, I can't believe people are watching me talk about this heifer. So thank you so much.
Needing maintenance. But why would you want to wait until your car breaks down before you do the maintenance? I'm one of those preventative maintenance type of gals, right? I don't do it as much now.
But didn't your car just break down not too long ago? You're funny, Betty.
As I did when I was married, but I'm a preventative maintenance type of gal. And I'm also one of those people that if I'm going to tear the front end of a car off, let me take care of everything I need to take care of. So I only have to take the front end of the car off once, right? So the truck had a nice water pump. It had a thermostat. It had an alternator. It had a radiator. It had a starter, right? I replaced all of them.
All right, so we're going to just fast forward a little bit.
Twitter and
And now it's buffering. All right. Come on, computer. So again, thank you so
Facebook
much.
Live and stuff like that. But once we get through this process and get monetized on Kick, I can really understand what Kick will offer this channel. It may be something that we choose not to do. You know, it blows my mind. They hate you guys here. You guys go somewhere else and they follow there. I know, because that shows you they cannot survive without us as their content. And so they're trying to find a way to make themselves embolden themselves, make them look like these you know, thugs on the streets of YouTube.
I'm not trying to make myself look like a thug.
They don't like it, they're just going to cancel you out, and then they can't. So they're going to try to run you off. But at the end of the day, we're still their content. So, you know, they can't run us off too far because they would then themselves tank their finances. Many of these people are living like, we got, you know, that want to be drug thugs.
Again, the majority of us aren't monetized, Betty. We make nothing. For me, this is fun. I like commenting. Instead of shouting inside my car at you, I get to comment online and let everyone share in my commentary and you know that it's just not my car hearing my thoughts. It's people who think like me.
On frickin' and Voice for the Voices, literally on welfare and taking cash from their subs and taking.
Oh, here she goes. She's still on the same train. Like that's Betty, you say that they're obsessed with you. So here you're still talking about the same thing. You haven't talked about Trent in probably over an hour. You haven't even touched on Letitia and Gannon. You've been complaining the entire time. So we're the pot calling the kettle black. You're doing, I always say this to my students, and I have one group this year that they fight constantly, and they're like, they won't leave me alone, or they keep touching my stuff. And they do the same thing. Like it's a two-way street, right? They're both doing the same thing. And I always tell them, like, if I did that to you, you would feel sort of way. So, for example, they might break a pencil that I gave them, right? They break it, they destroy it. And I will say, if I was to do that to your phone or your earbud, you would feel some sort of way, no? And I feel like this is the same situation. You hate what you're doing. No, let me rephrase. You hate what others are doing, yet you're doing the same thing back. So the only time that two negatives make something positive is in the realm of mathematics. Two negatives make a positive. In real life, two wrongs don't make things right. So just because someone may be doing it to you, doing it back to them because you're feeling spiteful, that's not doing anything to change things. Ignoring things and moving on is what we should do. Because again, we want to affect change. We want to bring change. We need to be the change.
Cash from YouTube and not reporting it because they would lose their benefits. So you've got people literally on YouTube committing fraud right in front of your eyes, and they're still able to do it without any consequences. So it's like, you know, if you guys want to go hang out with the criminals, go hang out with the criminals. But every time I turn around, it's them committing crimes. It's them actively committing crimes. It's not a past. It's not a past life that they've done their best to get away from.
Oh my gosh! So here we go. So again, I have only 2 speeding tickets, and I am not a criminal. I am highly educated. I work full time. So again, I see projection here, Betty Boo. I see projection.
Or change their life in any way, or now giving themselves to God, now trying to repent, and now trying to.
Oh, but didn't you just start going to church? Well, actually, I think she went to church for a few weeks, and then she was like, I'm not going to go to church. Da 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 da. I didn't, whatever. And so again, I feel like you're talking about yourself, Beth.
Be a giver instead of a taker, you know? So it's, I don't know what to say, but what we do know is that we've got the Struthers. They've been identified. We found their son. He's been identified in the Trent Lair Camp case. And then we have several other juveniles that have not yet been identified. And I'm not afraid of saying, if you break the law, I'm not afraid of saying publicly. Like,
oh, yep. So now she's going to dox minors who have not been named in this case. So now it's been, I don't even know how long I've been live. It's been a while, but she is now back to the Trent Lair case. And now she's saying how she doesn't care that those involved are minors. She will say their names.
I'm sorry, if you commit crimes, we're not here and say we don't have policies that, you know, due to our personal internal guidelines, because of the age of the person, we are deeming them, we're not going to show the face of these people. No, we show the faces of criminals on here. We show the faces of criminals on here. So if you're 12 years old and you commit a heinous crime, your face is going up on the Bullhorn Betty channel. I don't care what age you are. If you're committing those types of crimes like murder, oh, trust me, we definitely put your face everywhere. We do not just put your name out there. We are not one of these PC mainstream media companies at all. I am not scared. If your mama and daddy want to sue me, they can look up my address. I will be waiting for the court papers. I'll be waiting for the court papers. But they're not going to be able to because everything's legit. But if there is, we'll have our day in court. No big deal. No big deal. I live in Florida, so I hope you're willing to travel. So that's all I got.
But Betty, if they sue you and they're not in Florida, if they file papers in their state, you're traveling to their state. They're not traveling to yours.
We've identified that the Struther and Gould name is synonymous for the St. Simons Island area. Generational people, generational wealth, generational prestige, generational power. We definitely know that one of the J.C. Struthers, the one that actually owned that hardware store that's been around since the 1930s, was actually a county commissioner for Glenn County. This man that started the hardware store, he's since deceased. But the man that started, J.C. Struthers, that's not Carlton. That's his dad or grandfather. I can't figure that out. But I will make sure that we have that down pat soon. I'm pretty sure it's
Betty. Maybe you should reach out to me because I also, as a hobby, work on genealogy, as where my headstones and headlines came from. I also do genealogy work on the side, so hit me up, girlfriend.
See, I can't tell because, you know, they're still younger. Like the kids are younger. Him and Carlton and his wife are like in their 40s, late 40s. They're just a little bit older than I am, you know, with their son. So, you know, you try to look at that. You're looking at a father, 80s. So I would have to think it's his grandfather. It's got to be his grandfather because his father seems like he would have been born probably in the 50s, you know, late 40s or 50s. So it sounds like this is his grandfather because the store was opened in 1930. So we located one of his cousins, and that's the father of Jackson. The father of Jackson we're looking into because he's the one with the name. And then we found a courtship and a wedding announcement for a marriage between a Gould and a Struther. So that will be a very powerful marriage right there. And then we located Jackson as well as the lineage and their family tree, because Clarice's obituary in the newspaper, it was in, I'm not sure which local newspaper it was in. I don't see it printed at the bottom, but it states her history and how she was born in Glenn County, November 27th, 1927. So again,
all right, I'm gonna just fast forward a little bit because she's now being repetitive on what she's saying. Just give me a minute. My computer gets mad at me when I try to fast forward too far.
Her sources. It's not something that I'm just making up, you know, and stuff like that. When those mugshots come back, I'm able to use those mugshots because those mugshots were provided to me by public record. So we've got everything we need. We're not going to outside sources to get this. We're not going to mugshots.com to get our resource, which is not considered public record, by the way. And anybody that uses that could actually be in trouble with the terms of service, because terms of service clearly state that any information like that, if you're going to disseminate it across the streets of YouTube, has to be done through public record. And, you know, so that could be the court, you know, being on the clerk of court's website, that's public record. You know, your tax stuff's public record. However, you can't provide people's addresses and stuff like that on here. So you got to make sure that when you're showing, you know, records for taxes and other things, that those records are redacted. That means that the addresses or other identifying markers are removed. Other things in that stuff is all public record and readily available to anybody, anywhere. So if it's readily available to anybody anywhere, there's no duty of privacy. There's no privacy concerns. That's why privacy is very important. You have no duty of privacy when you get arrested. You have no duty of privacy to keep that mugshot private. It's not a privacy matter.
Actually, you do have the right. So she was talking on her live yesterday, I believe, about the triple homicide in Florida committed by the 3 teenagers against 3 other teenagers. And she wanted to know why the male victim hadn't been identified yet. Well, again, if she had done a simple Google search, she would have discovered that the reason his name has not been made public is because of Darcy's law, which protects the privacy of victims of crime. So we do want some level of privacy. We don't want all of our entire lives to be out there. So what you're saying is not okay.
It's a public matter. And so that's how those are going to be responded to. These are all public records that were obtained through public record requests and FOIA requests. There's no duty of privacy, and privacy cannot be alleged. So I don't know what to say. We're at 9:02 this morning, guys. We usually try to start around 6:30, be done at 8:30. We've had some technical issues with the lives. I'm going to have to change the thumbnails because it doesn't look like we're going to be. We might, because so far since being on this last run of being on the internet for the place I'm staying, and it seems like it's better this roll. I mean, we've been up for 51 minutes. It doesn't seem like we're having too much of a problem maintaining this. So if I can get it started before we leave so we can watch Letitia Stout's case, I will definitely do that. Let me see if I've got something. I'm getting something coming in.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to end her live there. If there's anything else spicy, I will definitely have that for you. Whoa, I've been live almost 2 hours. So I am going to call this. Be sure to like and subscribe. You can like, dislike. Any interaction is interaction. I did see that Queen Bee is live, and I love Queen Bee. So for those of you who have hung out with me the past few hours, thank you so much. And head over to Queen Bee because she's great. So with that being said, have a great day, and I will see you all on the flip side.
I got the juice like a snow cone, ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go. Senoritas going loco, make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters see rojo, they big mad cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode, I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke. You ain't a big shot, you some basic B-roll. The world is mine like my name's Pacino. Hey, it's Nico, I guess I'm back. Catch me in the fast lane on the right track, and my shorty is a 10 like a dime bag. Got me feeling like a milli, check the price tag. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip hop, ain't no time for pit stop. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip hop, cause my style. No time for daydreams. All my brothers
others get money, we call it gang green. Just another day, but our focus still on the same thing. Us against everyone else, I recommend you change teams. Who the hottest in the city? We the top two. You said your music was litty, but that is not true. Just being honest, you should really just stop, fool. Matter of fact, empty no pockets, give me that watch too. My mind is wicked, that's why I spit it so hostile. Freaky girls in the crib, it's like I live in a brothel. All I spit is Leviticus, but I'm not an apostle. My nuts hang low, long and they colossal. Black trader black, she messiah to the misfits. Run circles, run these rappers to my shit splits. You a little late to the party, baby, I been lit. If you ain't on the friend list, you better mind your business. Ooh, got the party jumping like crisscross. Ooh, got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Ooh, pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip hop, ain't no time for pit stops. Ooh, got the party jumping like crisscross. Ooh, got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Ooh, pull up on the scene like a